Hey, you guys. So thanks so much for joining this live webinar broadcast. For those of you that maybe knew somebody who maybe wanted to join but couldn't get on, let them know that they can click on the YouTube link and they don't have to be visible or they don't have to be seen or heard or anything like that. They can just listen in the car while they're doing dishes or putting their kids down or whatever. So anyways, thank you guys so much for joining. So this really is just going to be an introductory video about my new challenge this month. And I'm really excited about this challenge. It's called the Love Dare, a Healthy Living Challenge. And it's very different from my past challenges because it's not just about physical health and fitness. It's kind of the whole package. It's about living a wholehearted life. And there's a lot of different components that play a part in living a wholehearted life. And for those of you that maybe are not familiar with that term, I actually stole that term from Brene Brown. She is a researcher and amazing author and public speaker that actually is from Houston. She is amazing. And we'll go ahead and get started. So why did I want to do the Love Dare? So basically what we're going to do, the Love Dare is going to be 30 days. It's going to be dialing in on some big parts of our life. Why do this? It's going to be, about bettering our personal development, emotional health, spiritual health, physical health as a whole. And a lot of that is how we communicate with people. It's also about having a community to be part of. We are made to be in community with other people. And there are a lot of studies that link depression, suicide to not having a sense of belonging somewhere. I'm not saying anyone's depressed or suicidal out there. Maybe you are. And this is a great place for you. And I'm going to talk a little bit about my story just here in a minute. And you'll see I'm going to be very vulnerable tonight because that's what this is all about, is being vulnerable and learning from each other and really holding each other accountable through milestones in life and through hard times. And really helping each other to reach our goals, no matter what those goals might be. So why do the Love Dare? Why kind of focus on more spiritual, emotional, mental side of health and wellness? And why? Because life is hard and we blame ourselves. And when we blame ourselves, we do a lot of things to our body. And I know people don't believe that sometimes, but it is scientifically and physically true. It's a fact. A lot of cancers are linked to hormones that we produce when we're under stress. In America, I think a very high in the 80s percentage or close to 90% of heart attacks that happen on Monday morning before 8 a.m. And that is not a coincidence. Your body goes into these modes where it's fight or flight. It goes in these modes where it's breaking down. And it's because of the stress and the turmoil that a lot of times we feel like we're putting ourselves under. A lot of times we are putting ourselves under. A lot of times our stresses and responsibilities are doing that to us. So I really wanted to have just a safe place where we could come and talk about these things and kind of bounce around ideas with each other on how to overcome these things. And I'm going to be the first one to say I'm not an expert on any of this. I am really an accountability partner, and I want to really ignite kind of the passions that are inside of other people to be in community and to get to know people and to come alongside them and share their experience, which might be similar to somebody else's experience, and really help them learn and grow from that. So let me ask you this to get started. Have you ever had the negative self-talk in your mind or the negative thoughts that say, I'm ugly, I'm overweight, nobody's going to want me, I don't belong anywhere, I don't have any friends, I'm a bad employee, I'm a bad mom, I'm a horrible wife, I'm a bad husband, why would anyone want to be my friend? My mother, my father don't even love me. I was abandoned. Why would anyone want me? If you've ever had those kind of negative self-talks, I just want you to know you're not alone. Everybody has that. And I feel like sometimes people don't realize that. They think that they have been thrown into, or they've thrown themselves into a pit that they just can't get out of. And they start to get really comfortable there. And they start to think that that's all that God has for them and that's all that life has for them, is this pit that they've been thrown into. And I'm just here to say that a big reason why I wanted to start this is I lived there for quite some time. I put up pictures in my pit. I decorated my pit. I lived there in a negative place for a very long time in my life. It took me hitting adulthood and going through some pretty serious therapy and time alone with God to get to a place of wholehearted living and accepting myself and learning that I am who God made me, and I am wonderfully made, and I am beautiful, and I am wonderful. And that is not easy. You're not going to read a quote one day and be like, I'm wonderful. And that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about being self-involved or self-obsessed. I'm talking about, the same thought, love your neighbor as yourself. Well, if you don't love yourself, it's very hard to love anybody else. And to me, it's just cyclical. To me, it's like, if you can receive love from God, and that he has for us. And for some of you that might not be Christian, whatever your higher power is, if you can receive that, you were called to be, and for me, it's God. So I'm just going to talk that way, but that you were called to be something, and you were called into being, and you were created. And we look like our parents, and we have these descendants, and we can leave a legacy or we cannot. Our life says in the Bible that our life is like a mist. It's literally, if I took a spray bottle and went, that's really how long our life is in the grand scheme of life, And so what are we going to do with that? And are we going to be happy? And how do we be happy? What are some core things? It's hard. That's a hard question, is how are you happy? What makes you happy? And what I would say is loving yourself and being able to give and love others. And then, excuse me, and being able to live out your calling and find your passion. So I think those are the three things: loving yourself, being able to love others and give your heart and your time and your love to them. And then also living out your passion and your will for what God has for you in this life. So I just want to remind you guys that when you do have that negative self-talk, that's evil. That's not you. That's evil thoughts going into your brain saying, yeah, look at you. You thought you were going to get that promotion, but you weren't good enough. Or you thought you were going to, be able to find a husband, but no, you never were. You weren't good enough, And that's Satan. And we know from looking at John 10 through 29, that Satan comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And I want you guys to remember that. Almost everything negative can go into one of those categories: steal, kill, and destroy. And he's really good at it. And the only thing that overcomes that is that God is better. God overcomes. And again, if you're not somebody that believes in God, I apologize. I am. And for me, in my story, that has played a big impact on how I've kind of crawled out of that pit and then jumped out of that pit and been able to have real relationships and loving relationships and friendships and those kinds of things. So I really quickly just want to talk about my story for those of you that don't know. And for those of you that have known me for years and years and years watching this may be a shock to you. It may not be a shock to you. But I'm going to put it out there anyway, because I truly, truly feel people can think I'm an idiot or a loser or whatever they want to think about me for sharing a piece of my heart and sharing what makes me me and what I've come out of by God's grace. But I'm going to share a little bit about that because there's a lot of components that aided in me kind of jumping out of that pit. So first and foremost, I'll tell you a little bit about my story. So I grew up, I was this size, heavier, a little bit heavier, but not by much. But I was 5'8" since I was about 11 years old. I've told the story a lot, so if you're hearing this on the recording, you can fast forward. But and I wore my mom's clothes, and 11 years old is fourth grade, I think. Yeah, I was in fourth grade or fifth grade. I literally have pictures of me and my guy friends where I'm like this in sixth grade, like ducking down to be their friend. And I wouldn't have looked abnormal if I was 17 or 18, but I was 11 and my friends were little kids and I looked just like a giant. And I also had boobs and I I just grew up faster. I blossomed very early in a lot of different areas. And so to me, my thoughts about myself was, you're huge, you're fat, you can't fit into any of your friends' clothes, you're disgusting. I had a really negative self-talk. The good thing, or the positive self-talk I had, is that I was good at sports. I was good at a lot of talents. I could sing, I could dance, I could, I watched somebody do something, I could kind of mimic it and I could do it. And so I had some talents and, was good at some things. And so I was confident in that, but I was never confident in me, in myself. And I didn't really have any tools to feel confident in myself. I don't think anyone knew how much I didn't like myself until probably I was in middle school or junior high. And I was actually was dating somebody for a very long time, from 13 to 18. And him and his friend, who's a good friend of mine now, would call me Fat Lauren. And they would call me that because I think they kind of thought, it's such a joke. Why do you think you're fat? Why do you think you're ugly? Like, it's silly. But they would call me that and they would kind of mock me. We were young. We were 13 or 14. And it would just stick with me. And I wouldn't want to be in a bathing suit in front of anyone. I wouldn't want to be around anyone. I wouldn't want to go, in public. And it wasn't their fault. It was me. It was my insecurities and my, I was putting those insecurities out all the time. And it's like, people tell you who they are. People believe what you tell them you are. And I was like, I'm fat and I'm ugly and I'm gross and I don't fit in. And after a while of saying that a lot to people you care about, they're like, maybe you are, and you just kind of morph into that person. And so for me, I just didn't really know. I didn't feel loved by friends and stuff, but really that was because of a wall I was putting up. And so I just was kind of always looking for that, for someone to really love me for me. And then in college, I got a lot of attention because other people did think I was pretty and attractive and all these things. And for some reason, honestly, my metabolism changed in college and I lost like 15 pounds. Like it just changed. In high school, I was like, no carb, no this, no that. And I was fine. I was never overweight. But to me, I thought I looked obese, overweight, not fitting in. It just was like, I had body dysmorphia. I still do. And it was a big thing that I had to overcome. And so I just looked for that, and I would date guys for a month and then I would realize they don't really like me, or I would have this negative self-talk where I would be like, I'm too much, I'm too outspoken, I'm too loud, I'm too this, I'm too that. And then sometimes they would say to me, you're too loud, or you're too this, or you're too that. And it was over time compounding this negative self-image, this negative esteem, where I just hated myself. And it led me to some very, 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 very detrimental relationships. It led me at 17 into a very horrible relationship that I won't go into, that really totally took my spirit. Things happened to me that were kind of out of my control. Bad things happened and took me a totally different route in life. And then from then on, I just never felt like I had any value. I was a Christian. I believed in God, but I never really got how much God loved me and how he saved me and how he sent his son to save all of us, from all the things that we throw ourselves into and all the negativeness that happens in our life that are outside of our control. I never got that. I just felt abandoned and left out. And my parents were great, but my mom always had, in my opinion, extremely high expectations that I could never meet. And that went a long way to make me feel like I was never good enough either. And it was really hard for a really long time, just living in that, self-hate for a long time. Then I ended up moving. I graduated from college. I moved back to Houston. I got a job. My job was great. I had a lot of responsibility. I was doing really well. And my job totally became my identity because I was good at it and people respected me for it and thought I was good at it. And I just threw myself into it. And that's pretty much all I did. I worked all the time. And then we drank to blow off steam. And that was not good for me. When you're sitting in your mind hating yourself, and then you pour alcohol on it, it is not good for you. And that kind of took me down a road that, I had some instances and some things happen to me that shouldn't have, and that I shouldn't have put myself in that situation. I should have known, and I should have walked away from it. It wasn't good. And then I also had, I ended up meeting my ex-husband kind of during those times. And that was a very detrimental relationship. It was bad from the start. It was not respectful. It was not great. But again, I didn't know what a good relationship was, I don't think. Maybe he didn't either. I don't know. It ended up being very disturbing towards the end of things. We moved, we got married. We had a good patch. And I was like, I'm never going to get divorced. I would never get divorced. You just ride it out, and we got pregnant. And then about 4 months pregnant, it just was so bad. It was so abusive, and it just wasn't good. And so from there, I was kind of in dire straits. I panicked. I didn't know what to do or how to live in another country and all this. And, under all this duress, and I was worried for my child that, I was under all this stress and all this stuff. So I moved back to Houston, got a job back in what I did, back in my identity, knowing what I did, and kind of went from there. But when we decided to get divorced, I found out my mom had cancer, stage 3 cancer, and had to have major surgery. It was going to be a long road of healing and recovery for her. And I was living with my parents, which I had never done since I was 17 years old, not even in the summers. I had this baby who was the light of my life and really opened up a lot of light bulbs went off when I became pregnant, and a lot of light bulbs went off once I had Halston. And he was the best thing that's ever happened to me in my entire life. I'm so excited that I got to have him and that he's such a miracle and blessing in my life. But because I had this baby and I was working and I was recently divorced, living in another country, all my stuff was in another country, my vehicle, everything for a year. I just was like, I need counseling. Like, I need to know what to do and how to make sense of all of this and what is my life, like what is going on. And it was through all that I went to a Christian counselor, and I really, really, really got close with the Lord, and just started learning like what God says about me and what God says about a wife and how I was being treated as a wife, and what God says about parents, and was I doing the right thing? And I was, and all these things, and just really started understanding that circumstances happen to you, and you have to decide. You have to decide if you want to fight to overcome them, or if you want to just crawl into that pit and live there. And it was a couple of eye-opening things that happened that showed me that no, I'm out of here. Like, I'm out of this pit. I'm not going to do this. And one of those things for me was fitness. Definitely fitness. I would wake up every morning. I got addicted to it because there's just so many things that happen when you get active and your body starts going. And we'll talk about that in a second. That is good for you. It's good for your hormones. It's good. For instance, when you're under a lot of stress and anxiety, your body produces cortisol. It's an anxiety hormone. And cortisol holds fat in your stomach. It's what it does. It just holds on to lipids, it grows them, it holds them in, fat cells. And so when you're under high anxiety and high stress, you can work out, you can eat right, but you're producing such high levels of cortisol that it's going to hang on to all that fat, any kind of fat that you have in your body. So really just de-stressing, trying to de-stress, doing devotionals, meditating, all these things help me to come more at peace, going to church regularly, all these things. And fitness was a huge one. So that I really got into fitness. The other thing was, a lot of the reason why I would feel bad was because I had a huge digestion issue, always have in my digestive tract with digestion. And a lot of times why I would feel fat is because I would feel so bloated. So I started with Shakeology. And one of the things that's supposed to help with Crohn's disease, a lot of digestive issues. I know people who take it who have adrenal fatigue, lots of different adrenal issues and leaky gut and all kinds of stuff. So I said, hey, I'm going to give it a try. When I started on a fitness program through Beachbody and starting on Shakeology and really cleaning up clean eating, following a clean eating program, that's when I started feeling really good. I started feeling like, I had this regimen that I was on, and it wasn't really about getting cut and lean. It was more about, I'm on this regimen. I want to follow it. I want to stick to it. I want to hit a goal, and I'm strong enough to do it. I can do it. I can break a sweat for 30 minutes a day. I didn't have to go to a gym. You know, I can literally pop in a DVD or get on my computer wherever I am and stream a workout for 30 minutes. And I can do this every day and I can feel good. I can get stronger. I can see results. So that was a big part of what kind of pulled me up. The other thing that pulled me up out of the pit was accountability. I started hosting these challenge groups. And it was the accountability. My very first challenge group is probably one of my favorite challenge groups because I wanted the accountability too. I was a challenger. You know, I was somebody that was like, where did you get this recipe? And how can I find this? And where can I get that? And, you know, all these different things. And we leaned on each other. We had people in that accountability group that said, listen, I'm thinking about divorce and you guys are helping me to stay strong through this aspect of my life. Can I ask for prayer? Can I ask for guidance? And people reached out to her. I know I personally did and said, hey, I went through divorce. What can I do to help you? I wouldn't want that for anybody else. How can I help you? What can I get you engaged with? You know, and just building that relationship. And it sounds so silly that you can build relationships online in a challenge group. You can. When you are a commonality, when you have a commonality and a common goal with people, it is amazing the trust that you feel when you go through those things. I was watching, one of my favorite personal development speakers is Simon Sinek. Love him. He's the creator of Why, this Why power. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And just all of this. And he has this other thing that he says, and it's like, you know, if you're on a train in London and somebody, or he says like, you know, if you're on the subway or if you're from New York City and you go to LA and you see somebody and they're like, oh yeah, I'm from New York City. You know, you probably don't know that person at all, but you're like, you're from New York City, I'm from New York City. Oh my God, we do this a lot in Texas. You know, we'll go somewhere out of town and somebody will say they're from Texas and you feel trust. You feel compelled to say, oh, where in Texas do you live? Oh my gosh, I live here and da-da-da. Even though it's Texas, you know, you have nothing in common other than you're from Texas. And then he said, you know, and then when you go to London and you meet somebody and you're like, you hear an American accent and you're like, wait, where are you from? I'm from LA. Oh my God, I'm from New York City. You know, and it's like, again, it's an even more distinct commonality, but it's there. And you automatically kind of trust that person because you have some kind of commonality. That's what this group does. You know, we either have the fitness and health goals that we want to reach, or we just have personal goals that we want to reach. I know a lot of people will say, hey, I'm up for this promotion, or, you know, I really want to get this leadership program at work. You know, how can you guys help me? I've sent people TED Talks on, you know, here's a great TED Talk about how to interact with people or how to provide leadership. You know, another part of Beachbody that I love is that I'm a coach. I get to be a mentor. I'm not an expert in any of this. I'm just sharing what I love and what I know to help other people. You know, I get to come alongside them and say, oh my gosh, have you seen this? Have you checked this out? Have you read this book on or audio book on leadership? You know, and then I also get to share this coaching opportunity with people. So I also get to say like, honestly, do you want to make $500 extra a month? I do. That's like half my kids' daycare money. You can literally share this opportunity with other people that are either stay-at-home moms or that, you know, want to make extra spending money on the side or all these things. And once you share that with them, you get to help. You get to help another person either out of debt, pay off their debt, you know, just by sharing with others. And I love that about this is that it's not about selling. It's about sharing and entering more people into your community that you're building. And I love that. So a couple of tips about the Love Dare. So, and I know I touched on this before, but losing weight is like one of the further down reasons to get active. When you get active, you release serotonin, which is a happy hormone. You release endorphins. For any of you that have ever seen Legally Blonde, when she says she's a fitness instructor, fitness instructors have endorphins. Endorphins make you happy. Happy people don't just kill their husbands. So true. They don't. But also, it makes you happy. It makes you, and it's scientific. It's a serotonin is released, you know, and it's almost like a drug. Dopamine gets released. Dopamine is what we release when we feel that we've accomplished something. So if you've ever had a to-do list of something that you've already done and you wrote it down anyway just to check it off, you wanted the dopamine hit. That's what you wanted because that's what's getting out. So that's highly addictive, dopamine, and you produce it, you know, when you're active, when you start getting active and you get your heart rate up for 30 minutes a day. Oxytocin is the biggest one. And you guys probably heard that and you're like, oxy? Yeah, oxy is kind of a, you know, a chemical representation of oxytocin. Oxytocin is what you release actually when you give birth, whether you're on drugs or not. It's a love hormone. It's a lot of times why people say that people can bear childbirth, because oxytocin is released and it makes you feel like you love everyone and you're so comfortable and you're so excited and warm and fuzzy. That gets released when you get active. It's the reason why we sit in our living rooms with somebody right next to us, even though we're not talking. We want the community. We want the warmth. Oxytocin is being released when that happens. The other thing that's released is endorphins. I said endorphins, serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin. So those 4 things that people are highly addicted to outside of your body is what we produce on our own, which makes you clear, which makes you alert, makes you happy. It makes you think of things in a positive way. When you get active, it raises your metabolism, which is helping you to burn fat, but it's also helping to keep your brain, everything moving clearly in your brain. It also raises, and I know you guys are going to love this one, but it raises your libido. It really does. When you get active for 30 minutes a day and you get your heart rate up, your libido goes up and you're more sexually interested or excited. So that helps too. So there's so many reasons why you should be active daily. It's not just to watch a couple pounds drop. And honestly, if you want, muscle tone, you might see some pounds added and you might not like that, but that's why we always say you want to take pictures, you want to measure, if you're really, really going for physical transformation. I will say if you do want physical transformation as well as internal transformation, our programs are the best because they're a program. They're easy to learn. They're different every day. I'm doing hammer and chisel right now, which is a weight cardio. It's like a strength stability power program. And it is awesome because it's taking me 3 weeks to do the same workout over again. So every time I do it, I'm like, this is a new workout. You don't know what's coming and it's easier to complete and you're really tricking your muscles. I was telling somebody on Periscope the other day, I love Size. Size is our dance workout by a world famous choreographer, Shanti, who also did Insanity and Insanity Max 30. It literally teaches you choreography without a single break. So if you love to dance, you can burn so many calories just doing Size. We have PYO, which I am a certified PYO instructor. It is amazing. I will show you guys a picture if you ask me, but Melissa McAllister, who is very high up in this company, started out as a personal or a fitness instructor. And literally the only thing she does for her body is PYO and Turbo Fire, which those are both two programs that we offer, PYO Turbo. We also offer P90X, Insanity, Insanity Max 30, Hammer and Chisel, 21-Day Fix, which is huge. And all of those programs come with I'm going to find Melissa so you guys can see how ripped she is just by doing her programs. But all of those programs come with a portion control meal plan with actually portion control containers where you can see how much you should be eating, which I love that because when you go out to dinner or something, you can see, oh my God, that's 2 times too much rice, and put it aside and just eat what you're supposed to. Or can you add a handful of shrimp onto that salad or whatever? And you know how much of everything you're eating. Because when you're eating balanced like that, your body is taking it in differently. Liver processes things differently. Like for instance, if you just had a glass of wine or if you just had a piece of bread, your liver goes, sugar, and it converts it to fat. If you have, let's say, beans with rice, your liver goes, I think this is a complex carb, and it uses it more as fuel than as just sugary fat. So it really does make a difference how much you're eating and of what. So those 2 things, guys, you're definitely going to get an assessment from me, which we will sit and talk, or we will do it all online and say, what do you like the most? What kind of gets you going and lights you up as far as working out? Is it dance? Is it Pilates, yoga? Is it weights? Is it cardio? Is it high intensity? Do you really like to sweat when you work out? I don't know why I just did this. Do you really like to sweat? But we will do that assessment and then I will say, okay, this is the program that would be best for you. And then Shakeology. Shakeology is a huge reason why I love recommending this program, because without Shakeology, I would feel bloated every single day. It really helps me. And when I feel really bloated, I go, oh yeah, I didn't drink my Shakeology today. It's that instant. It is amazing. It's not a protein shake at all. If you've ever thought that, That is not true. It has protein in it because every meal should have protein in it. And we do use it as a meal replacement. We use it as, I just drink it for breakfast. I literally love the cafe latte one. So I have a coffee, and then when I'm usually going for my second coffee, I just go ahead and make myself a cafe latte shake. And I've got it. It's delicious and frothy and foamy, and I love it. And it's only 6 sugars, and it's perfect. But so that is really amazing because it's got adaptogens, which is going to fight free radicals in your body, which is cancer-causing stuff. It's got prebiotics and probiotics, which is good for your gut health. It's got, gosh, all these amazing superfoods that help with your circulatory system, your digestive system. It's got acai berry, ashwagandha. It's got, oh God, so many things in it. So many minerals, calcium, magnesium. The vitamins and minerals you get in are pretty much like taking a prenatal vitamin. It's got a lot in there. Plus it's got, it's got all the iron and all the stuff that you need. And then it's got all these superfoods. And all these superfoods are sourced from crops that are in these countries that they don't use pesticides. They don't use, all these genetically modified enhancements and all of this. So it is pure, it is natural, and that is how your body is going to receive it. And that is the biggest thing I can think of. I mean, I can go to the store and I can get a Gala apple that's about this big, and I can say, oh yeah, an apple's healthy, and I got the fiber. I also got a lot of GMOs and gross stuff from that. And so, it would take so many apples to eat, to get the fiber that you're getting in Shakeology, and it's so pure and it's so wonderful. It's got protein in it as well, and we also have vegan version. So if your body cannot tolerate whey protein, we have, I think it's pea protein. So that's available as well. So you've got the fitness, you've got the nutrition. And then the total body wellness. I mean, for me, it's just, I love to give tips and tricks about beauty and health wellness, about, like, for instance, I post stuff about dry brushing your skin. It helps with cellulite. It helps with regeneration of your skin cells. I love essential oils. We'll talk about that. What kind of oils can help? I don't sell them currently at all, but it's something that, can aid in your children's health, in your own health, that kind of thing. What can get your metabolism going? What can help with allergies? Anything health and fitness is really, it's as a whole. And then the other component that is my favorite component is the accountability and just the community. We are made to be in community. Otherwise we wouldn't be here. Right. And you're usually with people that are like-minded. You are usually like, if you're attracted to this Love Dare, chances are the other people that are attracted are going to be somewhat like you. Like attracts like. So, you can know that the people in this group are going to be like you. Don't get me wrong, people will be different, ethnicities and, life steps and ages and things like that, but it'll be people who share the same common interests. So I'll be posting, recipes. I'll be posting a lot of Bible verses. I also like to post, things that I went through that I came out the other side on. Because I know a lot of people have said, I love your inspiration. I love to post music videos, like Christian music videos of lyrics that sometimes help me get through the day. I like to post about TED Talks or different personal development talks that you can literally just find on YouTube, about leadership or about connection or about love, about community, those kinds of things that, like, honestly, you don't think it makes a difference, but if you listen to a 5-minute video, sometimes you walk away feeling like refreshed. You walk away feeling like, oh, I never thought about that perspective before. And you carry it with you throughout your day. You interact differently with people. When you really think about kind of the human connection and how we are all here to come alongside each other, you implement that into your life, and that in turn releases dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, all these lovely endorphins and happy drugs that we have naturally in our body to make. And it counteracts these negative anxiety hormones like cortisol and other negative hormones. So that is really what the Love Dare is all about. So if you guys are interested, I am going to put a link to the form in the event page, in my Facebook page, and on my YouTube page directly below this video once this recording is live. And that is just to sign up. If you've ever done one of my challenges before and you already have a fitness program or you're already drinking Shakeology, then you're good. You can just say, hey, I've already done it, and you can join. If you're not, let me know what you're interested in. You'll fill out this form, which is kind of like an evaluation form, and let me know what you're most interested in getting out of the group. You can join the group without doing one or the other, but we're going to be talking about it a lot. So if you're not committed to health and fitness and full body wellness, I don't know why you would want to join if you don't want to get on a regimen and on a program and really try to make a difference in your total body wellness. So I would like you to pick out a program that you love the most. I'll send you a video. I'll send you reviews on it to see, hey, I've narrowed it down to these two. Are you interested? Do you want to move forward with this one or that one? And we'll go from there. Some of them are different prices. But the clean eating meal plan, portion control meal plan, recipes, inspirational, anything from me, a couple other plans that I've planned out. All those things are free. The only thing that you pay for is your workout program and Shakeology. And I will tell you right now, if you haven't tried either one, it will change your life. I don't know if you guys have seen my before and after picture, but you can tell that I just went from being like depressed and to just lean and strong and happy. And I can't stress enough that psychologically, mentally, emotionally, fitness and being active has a lot to do with that, with your overall well-being. So does self-talk and listening to personal development, hearing, inspiring stories, that kind of stuff, that helps you so much with your well-being. So those two things, I think you guys are going to see a huge change in 30 days. I really, really am excited because I am at probably my biggest weight, my highest weight since maybe last year when I started as a coach. I really let myself go. I had a lot of life change this year. I've changed jobs 3 times. It's been a long year for me. My mom relapsed with cancer in the brain now. There's been so many things to go through. And I know so many people have reached out and said, oh my gosh, this happened to my parent. I totally understand how you're feeling, or I've lost a child this year. And again, that's why I'm doing this group, because there's so many life change that happens in someone's life that can make you want to just go, done. Don't care. Don't care about my body. Don't care about my health. Don't care about my energy level. Don't care. All I want to do is sit in this bathtub, watch a show, drink a bottle of wine. And you're not living when you do that. I've been there. I've done that. Believe me. And this December, food was that for me. I was like, don't care. Bread, ice cream, bleh. I knew it was bad for me. I know how to eat healthy. I was not in a good place, and so really having this accountability and people and women come alongside you and be your cheerleader and be there for you and hold you accountable makes all the difference in the world, you guys. So I am so excited to get this group started. It started today. It is a closed group, which means you have to be invited or you have to ask to join. You have to get an assessment with me and walk through what your health plan looks like for the next 30 days. And I will put you into the group. You guys are going to love it. There's so much goodness that comes out of these groups. I can't wait to get you started. If you have any questions, you can email me at Team Wild Republic, and it's Team Wild, WILDE, Republic @gmail.com. This is Halston. Say hi. Hi. Is it important to work out and to be fit and to eat right? Mm-hmm. Do you do that every day? Mm-hmm. Do you work out with mom?
Mm-hmm. I don't eat.
You do. Do you know who's your favorite trainer?
Mommy.
Mommy. Who's your favorite trainer on the videos?
A
girl or a boy?
A boy.
Is it Shanti?
Shanti.
Yeah, or Autumn?
Autumn.
Yeah, he loves Autumn.
No, I like Shanti.
He does love Shanti. Okay, anyways, guys, I'm going to put a link to, like I said, to the form to sign up for whichever one you want. You're going to love it, I promise. And if you're interested in sharing this, go ahead and share this YouTube link with anyone. They'll get the same information. Comment below. Let me know if you guys liked this. If this is something you're interested in, you can private message me on Facebook. Or you can fill out the form that I'll post in the group. But I hope to see you guys in the Love Dare Challenge. I will add you to the group as soon as we do your assessment. And I will see you guys soon. Thanks so much for watching. Say thank you. No, say, I hope you guys join.
I hope you got it.
Say it right. Okay. Bye, guys. Say bye.
Bye.